All right, so I'm gonna work through this one and then we're gonna do 2 of these together, then we can be finished. So 3, many employers treat their employees fairly. So we know that many employers treat their employees fairly. So cool. I'm questioning, I'm like, well, what is fairly? I don't know. Anyways, thus using others as a means to one's own end is not always morally reprehensible or harmful to others. So our conclusion here is using others as a means to one's own end is not always morally reprehensible or harmful to others. How can we get from the flaw or the gap that I see here is how can we get from like many employers treating themselves fairly to using others as a means to one's own end not being morally reprehensible or harmful to others? What are we assuming here?
Not all like if you treat your like employees fairly, like it's not always a negative thing. Like you're not always like treating them morally harmfully. Like if you treat them fairly, there is some leeway to treating others means to their own ends, because that's what it's saying.
What are they assuming fairly what are they assuming about employers here?
So I saw 2 things. I saw that if you're an employer, then you're using others as a means to your own end. And then I also saw treating people fairly equals something that is not morally reprehensible or harmful.
Excellent. So necessary assumption, we're looking for what is needed in order for our conclusion to even have a chance. What is needed here? Think about it in regards to this one.
So if we said like all employers
Does it have, wait, all?
Oh, many or most, some. So I don't know. It says many. So
some, no, but it's the bare minimum. We're not guaranteeing the conclusion.
Okay.
The bare minimum.
Okay.
So we're assuming, so it must be true that at least one employer is using others as a means to their own end, right?
Yes.
That is needed. Or we're assuming that some employers are not morally reprehensible or harmful to others, right?
Yeah.
Either one of those would work. Both of those are needed. All right, go ahead and try this one and put your answers in the chat. All right. So we're saying.
Do you get what I was saying though with like the second part of the sentence? Like using others as a means to one's own ends is not always morally reprehensible or harmful to others. Like, so there are some cases where like it's a good thing that you're like using means to one's own ends.
Did you put?
You saying in general.
BB. What sentence are you talking about?
After thus, like the conclusion.
Others as a mean to one's own end is not always morally. I don't understand what your question is.
Like is it saying like using others as a means to one's own ends is not always morally reprehensible?
Our conclusion is means to using others is not always morally reprehensible or harmful to others.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not always. That's what that means. Okay. So A, some employers act in a morally reprehensible manner only when they harm those whom they employ. Like, no, that's like the exact opposite of what we're looking for. B, no employers who act morally use their employees as a means to their own ends. What did you both like about this one?
Kind of combined them.
So you don't think that there can be any employer out there that acts orally and uses employees as a means to their own end? Like there's a difference between acting morally and morally reprehensible, right?
See, I saw that as the same thing.
No, morally reprehensible is like morally wrong. where morally is good.
Right. Oh my gosh. What are we doing?
Okay, so C, some or all employers use their employees as a means to their own end. This has to be true. That at least, this is what we predicted, at least one.
I was gonna put that one, but
because like, what if no employers use their employees as a means to their own end? Well, then this whole argument falls apart.
yes. I was gonna put C, but then, oh my gosh, I don't know.
All right.